If you're working with Unity and spend some time on YouTube, there's a pretty good chance you know about Brackeys. He and the team hosted another one of their game jams mid-February this year, and we thought we'd give it a go while also trying to put together a YouTube devlog for a very first time. This is also our first game jam experience, and in this video we'll show you how we managed to develop a complete mess of a game that still looks pretty nice, as you can see on the screen right now. We only had 1 week, so let's get started! As every Sunday, after my better half falls asleep, I was watching the latest Brackeys video when they announced they'll soon be hosting their 2020 Game Jam, and that this time the assets don't need to be created from scratch. This really caught my attention because together with some friends we're working on a project in our free time, and being able to reuse those assets makes developing a game in a week a lot easier. I talked with Tina, the programmer on our project, who also got excited quickly, so we joined the jam. And then forgot about it. When the theme was announced, I had no idea how to wrap our assets around it, or it around our assets. So I did what I do best. Wasted time on YouTube. At least it started educationally, but it quickly turned to watching a bunch of Dennis videos. Quality game dev time, right there. End of day 1. Nailed it. The next day I really just wanted to do something, so I set up the meshes that we're using for the planets in our project and started drilling holes in them, since that was the theme of the jam. I created some different size variations, and while doing so me and Tina had a brainstorming session where we decided that the game will be about flying a rocket with a bomb on it into a black hole to prevent it from exploding. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? Well, the catch is that the rocket is too slow to reach the black hole in time, so the players need to gain speed by flying through the holes in the planets. We were satisfied with the idea at this point, so after setting up the planet prefabs in Unity, it was time to find a rocket. Finding the package on the asset store took less than a minute, but choosing the rocket from within that package, yeah, we wasted way too much time on that. So after finishing the basic rocket setup, I sent files to Tina for him to start with his coding magic, and I finished the day off by playing some Don't Starve Together with my special player 2. Next, we needed some rocket movement and a black hole. We were just redoing the skybox for our project, so we simply decided to draw the black hole on one of the sides. Done! Afterwards, I added some particle effects to make our rocket prettier, while Tina started diving deep into the movement. How deep? Well, what you're seeing on the screen right now didn't work. Next, we tried implementing free roam movement and forcing it in a certain direction, but that made it nearly impossible to aim for the holes in the planets. On the third attempt, we got close and with some minor tweaks got the movement working exactly the way we wanted it. Of course, we also wanted the rocket to animate, but this is what we were going for, and this is what we got. At this point, we already wasted 2 days on the movement and 1.5 days on the movement animations. So we decided to just throw in some smoke particles to indicate the rocket direction and be done with it. The days that Tina spent focused on movement and animations, I spent putting together a quick mock-up of the main menu with the starting animation and level designing. Our original idea for level design ended up working pretty well. First, there's an area that only has planets with holes. Players have a chance to get used to the movement while gaining some initial acceleration. In the second part, we threw in some planets without holes that players need to avoid. Now, here is where it gets tense. We added connections between some planets in the third part, which in combination with the speed makes it really tricky to maneuver. and then in the final part everything starts getting stretched by the black hole's gravity. The holes here are hard to aim for and the obstacles easy to hit, which we felt made it a pretty good final stage, especially in the combination with the visuals. After the level was done, it was time to take care of all of the UI elements and use them to put together a win screen, death screen, pause menu and main menu. Afterwards, I searched for a couple different variations of the sound effects that we're gonna use and took care of the post-processing in the game. When all of this was done, it was already Saturday afternoon and Tina was still working on the movement animations. The day was beautiful and I couldn't get much more done without having more of the code running, so I decided to go get some exercise. I've been glued to a chair for 6 days now, so yeah, I needed it. It felt great to empty my head a little bit, but we only had about 15 hours to go, so I soon headed back. We didn't waste much time coming up with the name, and while Tina worked on the code that was still missing, I took the time to create everything we needed to put together an itch.io project page. We wanted to implement a bunch of stuff, like color randomizer in every playthrough and rotating planets, and because of this we had our first build ready at about 4 in the morning. Now, this is where we realized that we screwed up big time. Aside from all the other bugs, we never actually tried activating all the vegetation at once beforehand, and we realized the game takes forever to load and plays painstakingly slow. Panic started setting in and unfortunately we don't have much footage from the rest of the night, but basically what happened is that we spent next couple of hours just getting the game back in a playable state. As frustrating as it was, in the end we did manage to get rid of enough scripts and 3D meshes to make a game normally playable. We submitted it just minutes before the submission period ended. What you're looking at now is unedited footage from the last build of Subatomic bomb in a black hole. We'll update the project on each with more optimized version once the rating period of the gem finishes, so make sure you try it and let us know what you think in the comments below. There's still some bugs that need to be taken care of, but we'll do that in the near future. Right now, our main project needs more attention. By the way, if you're wondering what that is, make sure to check the trailer. Thank you for watching and big thanks to Brackeys team for hosting the jam. We had a lot of fun, we learned a lot and will sure participate in more game jams in the future. Cheers!